Or no, we can just do it right now. Okay, Kyle's game plan. So here's the problem with facing the Seahawks. They absolutely destroyed Christian McCaffrey 2 weeks ago. He couldn't run the ball. He couldn't do anything as a receiver. And I think it's fair to assume that the Niners won't be able to run the ball in this game, considering they won't have George Kittle. And I think statistically, they're at least a yard per carry. There's a difference of a yard per carry with him on and off the field, or in games that he doesn't play. They're about 4 yards per carry with him on the field and 3 with him not on the field. I could look it up, but I think it's about that stark. So forget the run game. They have a historically great run defense. You don't have your best blocker. Trent Williams will be there, but you're not running the ball. This, to me, needs to be the type of game plan that Kyle had when he faced the Rams week 5. That was back when the Rams defense was good, and the Niners couldn't run the ball at all. But they won the game throwing a lot. That was the game they went to overtime, and Mac Jones threw 49 passes. And they only scored 26 points. It wasn't an offensive masterclass. They scored 23 in regulation. But they didn't just constantly set themselves up in 2nd and 8. If they have that kind of game plan where they're trying to run on first down, it'll be 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11 a lot. And I think this is the game to have that Mac Jones game plan of a pass is as good as a run. Short throws are like extended handoffs. And you got to get the ball out of Brock Purdy's hands quickly. You didn't have to do that against Philly. I don't know what was going on, but Philly's pass rush didn't come to play. I mean, there was a big throw to DeMarcus Robinson on the second play of the game. Like Brock Purdy was able to hold the ball, manipulate the defense in the secondary with his eyes, and make throws down the field. He was not able to do that against the Seahawks because they have a pass rush. And it's going to be supercharged because they're rested and they're on turf and they have crowd noise and they're all that. So you got to anticipate. And Kyle's so good at this. When he really knows this is the game, we've seen him do it for years. He did it for Jimmy. He did it for Mac. Get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly all night. This is of all the games, Purdy has to be the most Mac Jones-ish. You're not running away from this. You can't hold the ball a long time against the Seahawks. And what sucks about them is they're also like the best tackling team in the league. And in this last game, it's felt like no one broke a tackle, not Christian. So if you know you're not going to get explosive plays down the field, you don't have the time. You don't have the time because of the pass rush, and you don't have the receivers really. DeMarcus Robinson isn't going for 111 against Seattle. He's going to do kind of what he did like a couple of weeks ago where he did nothing. So you're not getting big plays. You're not getting yak. You're not getting the deep throw. What do? Well, isn't Brock Purdy good enough to execute long drives in this offense? Mac Jones is. I think Brock is. So it seems to me like now you got to embrace all of these short throws and receivers who can keep the chains moving. Forget yards after the catch. Just give me guys who can catch the ball. Doesn't that make Jake Tonjes really key for this matchup? He's not explosive. He's not going to catch balls 20 yards down the field, and he's not going to break tackles or get you a lot after the catch. He's just going to catch the ball about 8 yards down the field. A throw to Jake Tonjes on first down puts you in 2nd and 2. Then you hand it off to Christian McCaffrey. It seems like instead of forcing the ball to wide receivers who are outmatched by the cornerbacks they're faced off against, throw it to the fullback. Throw it to the tight end. To me, this has to be a Brock Purdy game. And it's how many times can you throw the ball without turning it over? The running game is beating your head against the wall. The only reason to hand the ball off is because you're afraid that Brock Purdy's going to throw a pick or to kill clock. So you can run it here just to keep the defense honest. Try to have them, not be so predictable, but you got to pass a lot. If Brock Purdy can throw the ball 49 times, if he can throw the ball 40 times without throwing a pick, they'll win. But I don't know if he can do it. But Kyle, that's what you need to do. I don't know if there's any way that you can work around this. You can't run the ball. You're not going to run through Seattle to win this game. And I don't think you're going to get a touchdown pass from Jawan Jennings in this game or from Christian McCaffrey. It's got to be Brock. And I know people are like, you know what? That win over the Eagles justifies the contract and cements him as the best. Maybe it does. Maybe that's a precursor to what he's going to do in Seattle. But if he's truly elite, then he's going to go into Seattle and show it because he should be way better than Sam Darnold. We already know what Sam Darnold's going to do in this game. He's going to try to not mess it up. Brock's got to go up there and win it. Fortunately, he has Christian McCaffrey, who's still the best receiver out of the backfield in the league, and he has some players. But he's got to be smart. He can't be greedy. He's got to not force the ball over the middle. He's got to stay ahead of the chains. He's got to complete a high percentage of his passes. He's got to throw a lot of passes, and he's got to not throw a pick. Can you do that? On the flip side, the Niners need to put Darnold in the same freaking position. No, we're not going to let you hand it off 40 times. No, we don't respect you. We want you throwing 40 times because if you do, we think you're going to throw 2 picks at least. That's Darnold. Is that your attitude about Brock? This is the week, man. You know you're not running against Seattle. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Fortunately, your running back is better running routes than running the ball. So extended handoffs to Christian McCaffrey. Go back and look at what your offense looked like week 5. I mean, you had no George Kittle in that game, no Ricky, no George, no explosiveness. You had Kendrick Bourne and a dream, and you pulled it off. There's no reason you can't do that in this game. Those short throws will be available. They're playing zone coverage. They want you to check it down. So check it down. I guess I'm talking more to Brock here than Kyle. I think Kyle knows what to do. The question is, do you believe that you can pull it off with Brock? Because the way he calls games with Brock has usually been not a ton of passes, 26 to 35. Limit the exposure that Brock Purdy has with the defense. And if you do that, he'll give you some big plays. He makes your offense more explosive. It's kind of like young Russell Wilson. He made that offense so much better, but it was still a Marshawn Lynch production. And once Marshawn Lynch got old and it was like, all right, let's let Russ cook, you can't do it. The Niners are going to need Brock to cook in this game. You got to be a lot better than Darnold because you haven't yet in this matchup. In fact, Darnold has put up better numbers against the Niners this year than Brock has put up against the Seahawks, which isn't fair. Brock's facing a good defense and Darnold's facing no pass rush. A great coordinator, but no pass rush. No playmakers. Brock's got to step it up. What you did against the Eagles was legendary. And your whole playoff resume is fantastic. And if you go up into Seattle and win this one, now we're starting to talk about some serious all-time wins. I mean, if he can go into Seattle the week after going into Philly, win that game, bring this team back to the Super Bowl and win it, I mean, now we're talking Hall of Fame stuff. Not to get too far, but like this resume is getting serious. But you got to beat Seattle. And it's going to be on you, man. Christian's not going to bring you to the finish line here. Chances are Robert Saleh isn't going to hold the Seahawks to 13 points for the 3rd game in a row. It's on you, Brock. And the thing is, if it's 7-7 late in the game, if it's 27-27 late in the game, if it's a 1-score game late in the game, I'm taking Brock. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Siegfried says Niners game was the most viewed game this weekend. True. I think Bears Packers being on Amazon Prime probably hurt it because not everyone has that. But I'm telling you, Niner fan people like watching the Niners. Jay the Pro says, "Hey Grant, what are your thoughts, Fred Warner?" I started with that. I'm a little skeptical that he's actually going to come back, but I think it's cool that he's pressing the issue. Isaiah Sanchez says, "Grant, don't be that guy. There's bad calls and no calls every game. That roughing the passer on us was pretty bad for real." Can I be that guy for just one day? Can I ask you guys? Can I ask the audience if how many of you raise your hand if you thought that the NFL was propping up the Chiefs? Of you people, do you think that they're not doing that anymore, or that there's a new team? Because it ain't the Chiefs. If there's a new team, who is it? I just want to know. What do you guys think? Because this was like a huge thing in the discourse last year. Aztec says, "Now that you're 38, some advice. Those farts, a lot more tricky to discern. Maybe a shart in disguise. Tread carefully, my friend." Thank you for telling me that. Oof. It is your birthday, says Kane fan. It is. Hog says, "How are ex-Niners injuries once they leave?" Happy birthday, bro. I don't know. It's a good question. Stephen Draper says, "I'd take AG1 Grant. Can I get a discount?" Yeah. Yeah. Use promo code Cohn. Use the link in the description. See? People know about AG1. AG1 stops soft tissue injuries, says Aru Ilustri. Possible. Maybe the Niners should be taking AG1. Andrew Hatley says, "Put the game in Darnold's hands like with Jimmy G." I think you gotta. Aztec says, "UCLA for practice. Isn't that USC's parking lot?" Wow. Wish. Aztec says, "Saw film breakdown on Siegel. Dude was great. He is key." Yeah, he is good. Jair, you're done. Dai Lang says, "Happy birthday, Grant. Do you think," thank you, "Kyle has grown from relying on his toys, giving D. Robinson spotlight, or even the screen to Sky was unlike him?" Maybe. I think Kyle Shanahan wanted to prove that Quinyon Mitchell isn't good. And I don't know why he felt that way. And the reason I say that is that Richard Sherman was saying it all week. Richard Sherman's a big fan of me. Shout out to Richard. Loves my work. He was going on and on and on last week randomly that Quinyon Mitchell isn't good. All pro. And his reasoning was he doesn't intercept passes. So second play of the game, Kyle Shanahan goes right after Quinyon Mitchell, then does it again on the same drive. Almost makes me feel like Richard Sherman's, got some sources in the building and he had a tip off that the Niners game plan was to go after Quinyon Mitchell and show the world how little they respect him. Cool. Then he picked off 2 passes. Nice. Maybe don't do that again. If there was any question whether Quinyon Mitchell is the truth, the Niners answered that question. Yes, he is. You wanted to find out? You found out. Thank goodness it didn't end your season because what? And what's funny is, Quinyon Mitchell gave up those catches on the first drive, and Richard Sherman, who, again, is a big fan of me and my work, what I do, was taking victory laps on Twitter. He blocked me, but I could still see that. He blocked me years ago. I don't know why he blocked me. Is it because I said he was washed? But maybe it's because I said he was washed. Maybe it's not personal. Maybe he just doesn't like my content, in which case that hurts my feelings. But I don't think that Kyle Shanahan looks at some DB. Well, maybe Tariq Woolen. He doesn't respect Tariq Woolen. He thinks of Tariq Woolen what he thinks of Quinyon Mitchell, maybe worse. But I don't know that the Niners are going to have the time to actually go down the field and target him. We'll see. That's the guy. Harley says, "Yo, Grant, love the channel and all the content you put out. They got to go in with B-Rob. Rather put wear on him than McCaffrey." It's true. He runs so much harder than McCaffrey. You might need him. Seven Dennis says, "Thank God for quality control. Pops is proud." Tyler Barden says, "Happy birthday, Grant. Where you going to dinner?" My brother's house. I was going to do a whole thing on Friday, but now I got to go to Seattle. So I'll do like a dinner thing next week. DJ Noe Gomez says, happy birthday, bro. Keep eating them great Mexican burritos for us, man. Go Niners. Well, thank you, DJ. Appreciate that. And I will. That Tone 6 says, do Niners have waiver priority for Darrell Taylor? I don't know. But why would you pick up Darrell Taylor when you could just keep playing Keon White? I mean, the Niners have the guys. They got the guys.